What distinguishes masculine energy versus female energy, and when should we use one or the other?
The use of masculine energy for a woman is when a woman is acting like a man. And the traits of a man are very, very different to a woman. A woman's natural state, created to be a natural state, is to be more nurturing, to genuinely be able to give more of herself to nurturing others and to understanding others. Now, that's not to say that men don't do the same. They do, and certainly evolved men will do that also. But the traits of a man generally, born and meant to be a man, is that they are more self-centered, they are more concerned with self, they're more concerned with the journey of what they're doing in life. And they aren't so much concerned with the emotional needs. Whereas a woman is created with the traits of being more concerned with emotional need, and more able to nurture, more able to give. So a woman who is concerning herself in a role, whatever it might be, and she's using the traits of a man in order to try to be successful in that role, is using masculine traits that she's not naturally bred to be, not created to be. So she's working against her normal state, she's working against her normal development, and that's going to hold her back. She is not going to grow. Also, of course, masculine energy is women who will dress very much as a man. Now, I don't intend to take this question into the gender issue where it naturally leads, and there's a lot of confusion, as we know, in the world today around the gender issues. Women are created with certain traits to be women. Men are created with certain traits to be men. And a woman is meant to use the traits of a woman more nurturing than a man. And if she's not, she's working against what her creation is. That can't help her grow. That will hold her back.
And those traits have a particular energy.
Oh, absolutely, they have a particular energy. And it's what she is created to be good at, if we can use that term, to be competent at. It comes naturally, it should come naturally. Now, of course, there's a lot of developmental arrests that can happen through childhood, through upbringing, that's going to put blockers against those natural traits. But therapy can help change that. I'm talking about the creation of a man and the creation of a woman. They are very, very different traits.
That raised the topic of nurturing, which is fascinating. Quite some years ago, Pearl and I ran a fairly long series of workshops on relationships, and we questioned every man there until we got to 100 men, and we questioned them on what's nurturing. And of the 100, only 2 understood, and they were gay. The other 98 didn't have a clue, because we men as a group are more selfish. And you can't nurture from a selfish perspective. They're anathema. And from our world, it is a case of nurturing is creating an environment in which the other person can grow. And that's usually a soft environment where you're out of yourself and you're into helping and providing what the other person needs. That's not easy for a man per se, because we're too self-important.
So programmed to be selfish, but can learn how to become more nurturing?
But you only learn it from a woman.
Yes.
Futile for a woman to say to a man, nurture me, because they don't know. So they have to give them, in the training process, things to do.
It's so very common, for me as a therapist, it's so very common to hear a man say, well, I don't understand women. I don't understand how women work. And that's true. You know, most men don't, because men try to see women through their own focus, their own lens. There's the old saying, Carla, of get out of your own shoes and walk in someone else's shoes for a little while. That's what man needs to do more, is to be able to say to oneself, what is her world? right now? What is she trying to navigate and achieve right now? And the way that a man finds that out is by asking questions of a woman. But a man naturally, and they're created naturally to want to give answers all of the time. They might be very good at asking a woman a question, but they will automatically then tell her what to do and how to do it and how she should do it. And in doing that, they've learned nothing at all about nurturing, because they need to ask the question, they need to listen to the answer, they need to then think about the answer for a little moment or two, and then ask, what can I do to help? How can I help? Rather than automatically, well, you should do this.
In one of the workshops I was in with you, that last part was life-changing. I remember all of the guys' jaws dropping just with that slight adjustment to that sentence. Changes relationships.
One of the examples of a woman feeling nurtured is, run me a bath, please. The man will go off and run a bath, and if the woman says, could you also put some soap in it? Well, he might. And could you light me a candle? The man's inclination of seeing his wife get into the bath naked will cause him to want to stay there. But the woman hasn't asked for that, and it's not actually part of the nurturing process. And he'll want to stay there as his mind drifts off into himself and sex. And that then wrecks the process of nurturing. So it comes back to the woman. Her responsibility is to say, would you mind running me a bath? Would you put this many candles in these places? Will you put that into the bath? And then will you leave me alone for an hour, please?
Tough gig.
and that way the man can get it.
It is so common if I do relationship work where the woman will say to me, I really work hard to try and find one evening where we put the children to bed, we get a bottle of wine, and we watch a movie together. Now and again, I'm able to organize that. And so that happens, and I sit down with the bottle of wine, I put the movie on, and my partner sits down beside me, and I'm thinking, this is wonderful. I can just spend some time together here, we can watch this movie. And within 5 minutes or so, he's groping my vagina, or he's groping my breast, or whatever. And I feel very angry about that, because I'm here to watch a movie, I'm here to share some time, I'm not here to have sex. It is so common, you would find it hard to believe just how common it is. Where what each person wants is so completely opposite at the moment they sit down to watch that movie. It really needs for the woman to say, tonight I want to watch a movie with you. It's not sex, and I don't want to be groped during the movie. I just want to watch a movie and have a glass of wine. And if it's a romantic movie and, you know, we have tears, we have cuddles, we whatever, that might lead to sex later on or at the end of it. But just let that evolve, not in the first 5 minutes, thank you.
And the man will feel rejected.
Yeah.
And then begin to sulk.
And I've had men say to me, but she never told me that before. We've been together for 7 years, and she never told me that before. So what's changed? Because the woman hasn't told her
so
that
we've got to be
before.
explicit.
Now she's in therapy. Now she's learning these things, how to express more, how to be more honest, and the man's world's turned upside down.
And then the man hates the therapist.
A misconception of men by women, they've been taught to believe that we know stuff. And we just don't.
And that's it, really, isn't it? You just have to come from that place where it's just like they know nothing, so we have to explain and explain. And is it 7 times before they hear?
Spirit tells us, tell a man 7 times, and they might start to understand. And the man will say to you about the 3rd time, you're not my mother. Stop telling me what to do. But you just ignore that and you keep on doing it.
For more spiritual knowledge, remember to subscribe. If any of the information Ian and Pearl spoke about piqued your interest, make sure you like and comment on this video below. There's so much knowledge and advice being delivered from Spirit to you via this channel. Healing your physical and emotional pains will guide you towards a more loving and meaningful life. This is the Spiritual Renaissance.